What's going on, everybody? This is an episode from the No Gimmicks Needed Wrestling podcast. Do you like podcasts and you want to see the full podcast? Make sure you check out the No Gimmicks Needed Wrestling podcast on all your podcast platforms, such as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, among many others. But you're listening to the episode right here on YouTube, so make sure you hit that like button and below, and make sure you hit the subscribe button to NC Studios and NC Level Up for all your gaming needs. This is the Nerd Coalition. Enjoy the show. Alright, so along with all that news that just dropped about the partnership, TNA brought back its Genesis pay-per-view. For those who remember TNA, back in the Genesis was today at the top of the year, or Final Resolution at the bottom of the year. So I think at Bound for Glory, Santino Marella, who is now an authority figure over there, announced that Genesis will return on January 19th. And they were at the Curtis Caldwell Center in Garland, Texas. So I think that arena, when I looked it up, was about like a 6,000 seat arena. For a wrestling show, it's different. It could be 50. I don't know how many they had, 6,000, 7,000 people. I don't know what the final count is up there, but I know they had a good amount of people in there. And I was like, well, we're going to check this pay-per-view out, because it's been a while since I checked the TNA pay-per-view. But mostly I would go research on it and check out the highlights of what happened during the show and stuff like that. So I'm going to give you guys my recap of it, not a full breakdown review of it, and some things that did happen in the show and some things that we got to address and got to talk about. They had a pre-show where they had Ashante Adonis, who was, once again, an NXT star. Dorita came out and said that he made an open challenge, and Jake something came out, and the match only didn't last long. It was only about 4 minutes like that. It's a glorified squash, and he beats Ashante Adonis. Then you have Frankie Kazarian taking on Leon Slater, and Frankie Kazarian won that one. The show begins with a singles match for the TNA X Division Championship. Moose with Alicia Edwards and JDC, which is formerly known as Fandango, I believe it is, took on Ace Austin. Ace Austin was part of ABC with Chris Bay. Chris Bay broke his neck in that match. I still haven't even heard anything about Chris Bay. If anybody knows anything about Chris Bay or any update, because this happened, mid last year when this happened, and his neck broke, and I think it's a possibility. I haven't heard anything or seen anything on social media about Chris Bay. I don't know if that's good news or not. His career could be over. I don't know. I don't like to put that bad energy out there like that, but these things are a possibility of things that could possibly happen. But Moose and Ace Austin had a pretty good matchup. Now, once again, I haven't been following TNA storylines because I don't know where to watch TNA. I had to just catch the highlights of what they decide to show. And right now, I don't know what Moose is doing with the X Division Championship. I guess they just want to have Moose have literally damn near every championship that they can have in TNA. So I don't know what he's doing with the championship. Once again, you guys can fill me out, or the YouTube version, you can post down in the comments down below why he has the championship, because I always wonder, because TNA always used to do these things where they had these big guys have these X Division championships. I think I remember when Abyss had it her back during the Bischoff days, which was stupid. I think Brian Cage may have had it at one point. It's like this David Goliath thing. I don't know what the deal of that is, but from what I saw, they had a pretty decent matchup. But Moose does come out with the victory and beat Ace Austin in the matchup. So, good opener. It was a good opener. Good way to start. Would I open it with this? I don't necessarily know. Tag team match. They had Eric Young and Steve McLean taking on the System of Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers. And I didn't really watch too many highlights of this matchup, but Eric Young and Steve McLean take the win here. Then we had the tag team match for the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Championship. Spitfire, Jody Threat, and Dana Luna took on Ash by Elegance and Heather by Elegance, which is basically Dana Brooke and her protege. And it was what it was, but Spitfire wins the matchup. Like, after, it was like, to me, cool now, because this is where it picked up. This is where I think we had the match of the night, depending on who you're talking to, because the next match was the singles match between Tessa Blanchard and Jordynne Grace. Now, real quick, I did not get into the return of Tessa Blanchard because the way they kind of brought her in there was suspect as it was, like sneaking her in there because I think they knew how this was going to turn out, to be honest with you. And I heard reports that Jordynne Grace didn't want to work with Tessa Blanchard, but she's on her way out, and she's going to be a good soldier. She's going to be a professional, and she's going to work and put Tessa Blanchard over. And here's my take on it, because once again, look, the one thing I'm getting sick of, especially overall in this country, stuff like that, is ass kissing. Okay. I do believe that people have the right to redeem themselves. I do believe in second chances. I do believe in the fact that the ignorant are allowed to learn and learn from their mistakes. I believe in all that stuff, if it's legit. Okay? Tessa Blanchard ain't really show nothing that she would get. Just because you took the picture with Homegirl and said that, said, we cool now. Don't necessarily, because Chelsea Green has put out a tweet that if she deleted, it was the last week, talk about some, it's amazing how y'all can defend for a racist bully. And I'm like, I really have zero tolerance for that, because sometimes the way it seems like it's happening a lot of times is that people just don't look at race as a moral issue anymore. It's a political issue. People who support racist people, or people who or uplift racist people, or want to hurry them and just kiss their ass because we don't want to bring politics with race and discrimination to anybody. Ain't political, it's moral. Your morals should tell you better than that. It shouldn't be a political side. It ain't a Democrat Republican thing. It's a moral thing. And Jordynne Grace being married to Jonathan Gresham, I can understand. Just basically, if that was the reason, I'm not saying it was the reason, that she probably just didn't want to work with her. But once again, I respect that, because if somebody is is being racist or being discriminatory, and they can almost look like they care less, why deal with them people? That's why people don't really give a fuck about Hogan anymore. Just why? Why deal with that kind of energy? People rather kiss their ass. And the people just like, you know what? It's cool. Let's move on. Move on from a social issue, which most of the time, when people say move on, a lot of times, you got to be honest with yourself. You don't want to deal with it. You don't want to be embarrassed by it. You don't want to be reminded by it about how shitty somebody is, especially if they look like you. It's honesty. It's honesty. So, I was like, it is what it is. Because the one thing I cannot take away from Tessa Blanchard is that woman is an excellent fucking wrestler. That is one thing I cannot take away from Tessa Blanchard. She's an excellent wrestler. There are so many dream matches that I would like to see Tessa Blanchard in. Honestly, if Tessa Blanchard ain't really dig this hole for herself, WrestleMania in Vegas, she'd be on that show. WWE would have probably been signed her. AEW would have been signed her. They would have put her in a top tier program immediately, because that's how good she is, and she would have been showcased. Hell, her and Mercedes Moné could have probably tore the house down somewhere else in AEW, or her and Charlotte, for being horsewomen or horsemen's daughters, could have tore the house down. She's that talented. She's that good. I can't take that away. It's kind of like how I don't like Logan Paul, but I can't take away his wrestling ability. She's that damn good. But that shit is a stain, and it kind of showed a little bit in this matchup, because the crowd was not feeling Tessa. But she, as a heel, she went into the match, and when the match started, a couple highlights here. Jordynne Grace was out there like a ball of fire. She dove through the ropes, and took Tessa out, gave her a jackhammer on the floor. Tessa fights back, and she tries to go for her Hurricanrana, but Jordynne Grace grabs her and just starts just ramming her, swinging her on the sides. And it was just overall like a great match. These women went out there and they tore the house down. And there was a rolling, I think Tessa gave Tessa with a rolling Death Valley driver on the floor, and they were kicking out of that. And Tessa was throwing a lot at Jordynne Grace. Towards the end of the match, Tessa was having so many problems with these turnbuckle pads. She was trying to take off these turnbuckle pads and to have the exposed steel, but this wasn't working. But she has Jordan on top on the top, and then she lays Jordan down one of the top turnbuckles with the buzzsaw. She covers Grace, but she breaks the hold by grabbing the bottom rope. Then she gets one of the turnbuckle pads off and bulldogs Jordynne Grace's face into the exposed turnbuckle. Then hits her with the Magna for the win. Tessa Blanchard wins the matchup. Here's the thing, though. Tessa Blanchard, during part of the matchup. Now, I'm not going to say this was like, it wasn't like, New Day heat type thing, but you could hear it and you know what's coming. They started a chant of, "She's a racist." Now, once again, I wasn't there and I didn't get to see the full highlight, but I did see that the fans were chanting that she's a racist. Now, once again, it could have been a small group of people. It could have been, I don't know if it was the whole arena, but you can hear it enough that you knew this was coming. And they already was booing her anyway. This is something that TNA is going to have to address immediately. Because, once again, the one that you don't want for somebody as talented as Tessa Blanchard is go away heat. Especially for what the heat that's on her right now. And once again, you got fans that probably think that this will all go away. It will all blow over. Whatever the case may be. You could be making a point about that. Or, what I'm saying is that this could be something that could totally backfire, especially with her, part of TNA, part of this new WWE multi-year deal they got going on. And they got, TKO and sponsors and all that stuff like that. And if she's really toxic, if she's really a problem, they're not going to want her there. And it's going to be even harder for her to make the comeback that she wants unless she makes some real strides in this. So I'm just saying that right now TNA did this. They wanted Tessa. They got themselves some issue that they're going to have to work out. And it's something that I don't think personally that they're going to be able to have to sweep this under the rug. Honestly. Next up is the I Quit match between Josh Alexander and Mike Santana. Mike, I'm telling you right now, I love the growth in Mike Santana, because after he got injured in that blood and guts match, and then him and Ortiz was beefing and they broke up and they weren't a tag team anymore, and they saw that Mike Santana's a tag team guy. He has come over to TNA and he has really elevated himself to, I'm pretty sure within the next year, or maybe even just in 2025 alone, will be fighting for the TNA World Champion. Now, we are in the era of, I believe in Joe Hendry. So, we ain't there yet, but I'm pretty sure he's going to get there. And it is definitely something that I can't wait to see. I'm so happy with what he has done so far. Now, this matchup was brutal. This was an I Quit matchup, as you can expect. We sit there and have all the toys and all the things that is needed for it, and they put on a banger. Mike Santana and Josh Alexander put on a banger. So this match was very, very brutal. Like I said, I'm not giving you a play-by-play. I just, I didn't want to do it that way. Like I said, I don't want to be doing my wrestling reviews like that anymore with the play-by-plays, but give you more of the recap, and the recaps of what I saw here. But here's the thing. So Santana has this lariat clothesline, which he calls spin the block. He hits Josh Alexander so hard with this spin the block clothesline that Josh Alexander comes out of his headgear and his mouthpiece. That's how hard Santana lays him out. Then he zip ties his hands behind his back, so he can't get in there. He's been asking, like, do you quit? Do you quit? He hits him with another spin the block. He don't want to quit. He sets him up in the corner, puts a table with him on the corner, and then jumps off from steel steps, and then crashes into the corner on top of Josh Alexander. Ref asks, hey, yo, man, do you want to quit? That honestly, when it looked like Santana hit most of that table, then I don't even think Josh barely got touch of that table at all. But he still didn't want to quit. So Santana goes, now for anybody who watched old LAX matches or anything like that, he went out and got the slapjack, which, you know, is the sock with cue balls in it. And he brings that in the ring. And once again, Josh Alexander is zip tied and he can't move. And this man starts wailing on his midsection with the, you know, with the slapjack. And Josh Alexander starts bleeding from the mouth. And the referee is asking, did you want to quit? He said, you will never be the guy. Which is giving me the hint, like I said, this is really the ability to get him to be that guy. So Santana grabs Josh Alexander's face. He's going to slam his face because he can't block it into the steel steps. And that's when Josh says he quits. And then Mike Santana wins the matchup. Now, after the match, Mike Santana, he said that, you know, he wanted him to shake his hand after the match. You're going to face him like a man. And he said, he tells Josh that he kept his word and tells Josh to shake. He said, keep your word. And the fans, you know, tell him to shake his hand. And Josh Alexander shakes the hand and so he's a man of his word and says he's a man of word and tells him that he's the standard of TNA, but he also quits TNA. And he's done with TNA. Josh Alexander looks to be done. He put over Mike Santana in a big way. Look like he's on his way out. Now, would I like to see Josh Alexander in WWE? Absolutely. But can he go to AEW also? Absolutely. But I do think Josh Alexander has been doing a lot in TNA right now, so I can understand him wanting to test out the free agency market. So shout out to that. That was another banger of a match here. Then we have the TNA World Tag Team Championships match. The Hardys, Jeff Hardy, taking on the Rascals, which is Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz. But before it happens, the NXT Tag Team Champions, Nathan Frazier and Axiom, come down, and the crowd going nuts for them. And they're just down there to sit and watch the matchup. Now, once again, this was the Hardys with the Tag Team Champions. The Hardys' name sells it alone. They're one of the biggest names in wrestling. And the Hardys are old. So the Hardys just hit the greatest hits as they could. Can they truly keep up with the Rascals? No. but not in this day and age, no. But they are there to make the hits. And even with Matt was about to run into one of them, and then, you know, they apologized, but then I think it was Trey Miguel that comes out and dives to the outside, and Matt gets out the way, and then it takes out Faxium. And then Nathan Frazier is ready to, you know, get the fight on, but no, they had to break them up. But Matt goes for a twist of fate, but then Zachary Wentz blocks it, and Matt sends Wentz to the floor, and Josh Trey with twist of fate. Jeff does the swanton, and then they're still the TNA Tag Team Champions. So that's pretty good. So, and then we get another. They show another promo of the first live TNA Impact in 8 years. Airs Thursday on Access TV as the NXT Tag Team Champions Nathan Frazier and Axiom will defend their titles against the Rascals. That should be it. Now that's the match. I was saying the Hardys was playing the greatest hits, but that's the match you should be looking out for right there. That's the match, to be honest with you. So then we had the TNA Knockout Women's Championship House of Fun Clockwork Orange match. That's a mouthful in itself. Okay, Masha Slamovich taking on Rosemary. I don't know what the rivalry is. I do not know what caused all this. I don't even know if this rivalry warrant this kind of match. I was just like, for all the things TNA does, you might as well have just said this is a Monsters Ball match. But I don't even know. I mean, I know they still use the name, but I don't even know they still use that, that dumb gimmick that they had where everybody's just, locked up in a cell with no light and no water for 24 hours, and they come out there and they just, they're just being evil to you. So this thing is just set up weird. They got this chain going around the ring, and it's holding like a steel door, and it's holding kendo sticks and brass stuff. There's a ladder on the outside, chairs, barbed wire boards. It's a lot of shit going on in this matchup, and Marsha slams Rosemary on one of these barbed wire boards in the ring, and then she pins her, she kicks out. Then she gives her a double foot stomp while she's still on the barbed wire, which looked like it sucked. But then she kicks out again. So then there's a table set up on the outside, right? And Marsha's climbing the ladder. Now she's obviously climbing the ladder near the edge of the ring. I guess she's trying to think about diving on Rosemary. Rosemary gets up and pushes Marsha off the ladder. There's two tables on the outside. When she goes flying over there, she don't even hit this. It looks like her head catches, like it clips the second table, but she just goes to the first one. That looked like it sucked. That spot looked like it sucked. Okay. Rosemary brings her back and cover. It's a false count anyway. She covers her. Rosemary sets up the chairs, open face out into the ring. And then she goes to the floor and grabs Marsha. Comes up and she's pushed on the top rope. Marsha is up, but then she leaps onto the second rope, drops Rosemary into the steel stair, onto the steel step, on the steel chairs. Good Lord, my bad. I apologize, y'all. I apologize because Rosemary's on top rope, but she leaps to the second rope and then kind of suplexes into the steel steps, and then she wins the matchup. Still your Knockouts champion, Marsha Slamovich. After the match, Cora Jade comes out. Cora Jade from NXT. Now, we don't usually see Cora Jade. I don't think she would have changed the match in a while, but she comes out there and she makes her way down, and she enters the ring and they go face to face, and it looks like she was a shot at the TNA Knockouts champion. This is what I'm talking about with the partnership and how they're going to keep switching things over and over and over. So they had some time to kill because they had to really clean up all the bullshit that was in that ring. And they had like the Busted Open crew come out there for a minute, like Mark Henry, Tommy Dreamer, and stuff like that. And Ryan Nemeth comes out and says his brother doesn't care what anyone thinks of his brother, and he's going to win. And the fans boo and stuff like that. And Santee Marella tells Ryan that he has no business in this match, and Marella bans Ryan from ringside, and security remove him. So now it's time for the TNA World Championship match. Nick Nemeth takes on Joe Hendry. We've been waiting for them to Joe Hendry to do this. We thought he was going to do it at Slammiversary. We thought he was going to do it at what was the other show that they had, but he just couldn't. He could not get it done. Well, would this be the time that Joe Hendry gets the championship from Nick Nemeth? And I'm a Nick Nemeth fan. I'm a Dolph Ziggler guy. I'm a Nick Nemeth guy. So the match is pretty solid going on through, but then Nick Nemeth goes to the top rope, and Joe Hendry he's going to fall away off the top rope. While both men are down, Kazarian decides to come up, and he's going to tease that he's going to cash in his final shot cup, whatever Money in the Bank version TNA got going on right now. He is thinking about doing that. Well, the Outlaw JBL comes out of nowhere through the crowd and gives a clothesline to hell to Kaz, and the fans chant JBL, who's just staring him down. Side note, I don't know why JBL's doing all this. JBL just come out there and he been through TNA, he been through indie promotions, he's been everywhere, literally clothesline from hell everybody. Stares at him and walks off. That has been JBL's thing for like the past couple months right now. He's gonna be on Raw tonight, and I don't even know what the hell for. But he just been doing it and just leaving. He becoming the cowboy hat and this, his Walker Texas Ranger jacket, clothesline the hell from you, and going about his day. So he stops Cash from doing that, and He leaves the crowd. So Joe Hendry picks up nicknaming for the standing ovation. He covers him, but Nick Neff kicks out, and Hendry is shot. He goes for it again, but Neff escapes and drops Hendry with a danger zone. 1, 2, and Hendry stays alive. The fans are going crazy for it. Neff tries to set him up for the super kick, but Hendry blocks it and kicks him, and then picks Neff up and drops him with another standing ovation and covers him. 1, 2, 3, and we have a new TNA champion. I believe in Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry is now your new TNA World Heavyweight Champion. And he celebrates with his parents at ringside. And he celebrates with the fans that go crazy. And that's how Justice goes off the air. I thought it was a good show. I thought for what it was, I thought it was a good show. I'm very happy for Joe Hendry. I'm glad he got the big one. Which, once again, I definitely see him now. After this, definitely see him now going to be at the Royal Rumble with that championship to show that thing off, to get this crossover thing even popping even more. So I definitely make a space for him, Triple H. He's going to be in that Royal Rumble. So overall, I give TNA Genesis a thumbs up. I'm really looking forward to how TNA is going to be in 2025 with this crossover with NXT and WWE, and how is it going to also bleed out into the exposure and even in the video games and stuff like that. That's what I want to see. 2025 may be the year of TNA. Who knows? But good overall show. Good overall show.